All right. So, well, this is Soul and Soul reading and Beena listening to Walden. This is, I think, we're on part 8 now.
Yes.
Okay. The next year, I did better still, for I spaded up all the land which I required, about a third of an acre, and I learned from the experience of both years, not being in the least awed by many celebrated works on husbandry, Arthur Young among the rest, that if one would see, comma splice, Beena, right there, comma splice. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Arthur Young would be among the rest, that if one would live simply and eat only the crop which he raised and raise no more than he ate, and not exchange it for an insufficient quantity of more luxurious and expensive things, he would need to cultivate only a few rods of ground, and that it would be cheaper to spade up that than to use oxen to plough it, and to select a fresh spot from time to time than to manure the old. And he could do all this necessary farm work as if it were with his left hand at odd hours in the summer. And thus he would not be tied to an ox or horse or cow or pig, as at present. I desire to speak impartially on this point, and as one not interested in the success or failure of the present economical and social arrangements. I was more independent than any farmer in Concord, for I was not anchored to a house or farm, but could follow the bent of my genius, which is a very crooked one every moment. Beside being better off than they already, if my house had been burned or my crops had failed, I should have been nearly as well off as before. Okay. So I was saying to Erica Jane, in the same way that Jonathan Livingston Seagull had a profound influence, right, in the New Age movement. Yes, as we discussed, Bina,
Yes. Yes.
that he was somewhat of a flashpoint or an origin point or a popularization point. Thoreau is the origin of essentially the off-grid logic, right?
Mm.
Of the ideal of the tiny homes and the off-grid. You can directly trace this tiny home thing back to him.
Yes.
Yeah. Remember when we said with
Yes.
his house, how small it was just a room, right? It's being self-sufficient.
Mm.
And what he did was romanticize it. Yes.
Yes.
And I know I was certainly a victim of this too. But this ideal, it comes from him. It is a good ideal. It's not as practical and as actually as doable as he likes to think it is, because it still depends operating outside of it. And because he says to spade, right?
Okay.
Right. So let me just let's
Yes.
just make
Yes.
his point here, right? He says to rather to spade it rather than to use the ox and plow it. Dude, where did you get your spade from? That one crucial implement, and also the axe which he uses for his wood that he cuts for his stove, right? He cannot easily survive without that axe or the spade. Yeah, be very difficult for him to do so. But
Mm-hmm.
that spade, which is so essential, is made in a factory, and it requires a mine to support it. See, to make the metal. And this is the parts where all of these logics go askew. They assume that, oh, you're just out there doing your own thing, but they forget that, hey, you're using the spade and the axe and the knife and stuff like this. Metal, in other words, which you didn't mine yourself and you didn't forge yourself. Now, if you were forging your own thing, okay, but still, it's very hard to build a forge from nothing. You can do it, but it takes a lot of time and energy. So anyway, right? So you are able to be and exist in isolation because of the industry that you so eschew and deride. Yes.
Mm.
See. Mm. Hmm.
Mm.
Fine. Have your thing of off grid and do your own thing and all this. But then don't be using an axe and a spade.
Mm.
Then I will listen to you and really take what you're saying seriously. Right? Isn't
Mm.
that interesting, Beena? Anyway,
Yes.
you were gonna say?
So this is actually very interesting because you know that for me the moment, the aha moment was when I made a post of those tiny houses. Some lost childhood friends decide to live together in a tiny
Yeah.
houses on beach, all identical and very tiny. And then I said, oh, it's not look cute.
Yeah.
And then it says we're just for 2-3 days, and then you will start like everything will start squeezing
Exactly
in.
for 2, 3 days.
Yeah, and we said that okay, so and that was a huge moment for me. That was a huge moment for me because and from then this idea never get out of my mind that to be really thorough and see things in a different way and perspective. That was the idea really kicks in about the perspective shifting, and also the reality we perceive and the reality exist could be totally different. So that's this
Exactly.
again very very
Exactly.
very very
Exactly.
interesting thing for me. So
Exactly.
and I was
Exactly.
almost feeling that, oh my god, if I would be in that situation, that would be the disaster. Okay, whatever money I had, I have already spent on this tiny little bunker, and I have to live there. No way, sorry. And also on beach, maintenance on living on beach is a huge deal, not only to your home and appliances and other stuff, but also to yourself. Beach is not for fragile health people, and of course not in that. So anyway, a lot of things came up. But when you were saying about how Thoreau actually initiated this idea of okay, some sort of idea of
Off gridding.
being off
Off
grid,
gridding. Yeah.
yeah. So like okay, living off grid and all these things, which is very cool, of course. Yeah, yeah. Human.
It's not so much that he had the idea so much, but he romanticized it. That
Okay,
is what he did.
okay.
Yeah.
So this idea, I'm not against it, of course, because this is okay. Every person should have at least some sort of independence in this regard, that they will not be in a miserable situation if something happened. Okay, till then. But also, I strongly believe that human culture and societies are really profound. They are adding value to quality of life for human. Amazing benefits. So yes, there are some, of course, disadvantages when you become part of all that this conventional system and lifestyle of living, but also you get amazing value. Like I don't need to worry about my electricity. I don't need to worry about the sewage. I don't need to worry about the water supply, and I can use this time for more productive for my own learning and growth and all that, instead of just wondering in words and cutting words for my stove to go and then I start cooking and all the okay, yes, it looks good, but also it is so much time and energy consuming, which is of course same. So yes, living with other people in a community and sharing the shared resource, yes, it has a lot of not so good uh, things attached to that, but also they add amazing value. Amazing value. Oh, it's in Urdu. Oh, why he's posting here? Anyway,
And back
so
pain. I don't know. I think people only talk about bubble awareness, Pina.
yeah.
They see their posts on their timeline, typically in Urdu, and they assume that, oh, this group is there. No, they don't. Just bubble, just me, my stuff to me. Yeah, another
Okay.
one, same thing.
So this is the woman from Cancer, and they are saying that
Oh, I don't care what they're
it's
saying.
all
It's
about
just I'm
daughter.
just gonna decline them because it's
Yeah, save
inappropriate.
daughter and let her study and and they just let her do and learn
Me
something
and
right.
my world, and whatever's related to me, never mind the rest. It's just complete bubble awareness. Fascinating.
Yes. Okay.
But yeah, it's
So
exactly what you're talking about here. Yeah.
so then and then Tarot just okay, as you said that he romanticized this.
Yeah.
But I see it in other aspect of our life also. When people they don't assume that they are romanticizing the idea, but it is a big deal, especially when it comes to marriage, the institution of marriage. It is
Exactly.
overly,
Yeah.
drastically
Exactly.
romanticized, inappropriately romanticized. And every new couple, okay, not every, of course, most of new couples, they assume that okay, we are going to just live in our tiny cozy home and we are going to make our own world, and this is how it is things going to be, and we all will live happily ever after. See, this is the idea. But when the reality kicks in, you have to not only share your good time or your good self with someone, but you have to share not so good side of you and not so good side of other person also. And you have to adjust with all these things, like oh yes, that handsome guy or that beautiful woman also have a digestive system. See,
Mm.
antidote for your romanticism right there. So when they have different needs, when they have different likes and dislikes, and sharing your life with the other person is not a child's play. You don't just assume that, oh, I'm going to just throw some beautiful cushions and pillows on my bed and their life is going to be happily ever after. And burn some candle, light some candles there and there. This is not the real life. Of course, it adds value, it adds beauty and all these things, but they are not the real true essence of life. So, as not only the idea of being off grid is overly romanticized by so many people, including, as you are saying, that initiated by Thoreau, but also the institution of marriage, also overly
Yeah.
romanticized by so many
Oh,
people.
hopelessly so. Exactly. Exactly.
And also this nuclear idea of nuclear family also,
Oh,
this is
yeah.
also overly emphasized because when people, like in east is still people live together, they share their resources, they share their things and and you get like okay, you can improve your quality of life in your limited income. This is how this things
Yeah.
works. Of
Yeah.
course it has some, of course, a negative side also, but when you compare it logically, really thoroughly, you will see that you are getting more benefits than the negative sides.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. Overview perspective. See, it always comes back to that, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So this idea, and then this is loud now because you made it really obvious for me. Now I'm seeing when I'm reading his writing there, he's mentioning bull, ox, pig, duck, cat. Like okay, so when you are going in detail, by implication, it seems like that okay, you are being really thorough, and these are the only animals which are the real concern and relative.
Yeah.
And I'm understanding that in writing, when someone go in this detail, like really specific, we have to be really thorough. Either I have to mention every possible animal in this regard, or otherwise I have to be careful and not say like okay, animals like this, that's it,
Mm.
because he is mentioning in a way like okay, bull, ox, pig, blah blah blah, and that's it. Like these, this is the whole world right there. Yeah. So, uh, sorry, Alan, but when it comes to writing, a person, of course, as a learner right here, I'm seeing the consequences of Thoreau is writing, the way he is writing, the way he's mentioning things. It seems like
Yeah.
that this is very definite. By implication, it seems like this is the
Yes.
whole type,
Yes.
which we really needs to pay attention, very close attention to, because the reader is not there with you who can see that okay what you mean. You have to actually be really clear about what you really mean.
Yeah.
So this is something I'm okay now. It was like why you're mentioning these? Okay, and you're not saying that, okay, animals like these, or some in some other way where you mentioned that.
Yeah,
Okay, which is interesting. So overly romanticized ideas in life, like living off grid, and also marriage institution in general.
yeah,
Amazing example of overly inappropriately romanticized concepts.
yeah. And also, to me, this is where the life detective thing comes out, right?
Mm.
If you've
Yeah.
got ideas and a belief, right? In other words, a theory, or sorry, to be more precise, a hypothesis, yeah, a belief, which is a hypothesis. You better actually implement this thing and test it for real. Now, Thoreau says, yes, but I am. This is precisely what I'm doing out here. I'm testing this idea of doing it and living by yourself and living simply and blah blah. But he's not testing it in a realistic way, because all he's testing is his ability to do so as an exception, like we showed with the students. Yeah,
Mm.
he's not testing it that it's okay for everybody, and he is recommending this for everybody. There's
Mm.
his problem, right? That he's testing it only in a small scale. You need to test it fully. If you are saying, look, take advantage. If people want to do that, that's they working in factories and mines and making all this stuff. Great, take advantage and get all the tools you can and go and live on your own simply. Oh, that's a different logic. But don't be recommending this for everybody as an ideal way of living. It's not feasible for everyone. Only feasible in exception. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a very potent thing, right, Beena?
Yes.
Yeah. Very, very potent. Very, very potent. Very cool. Very cool indeed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And again, it's that recreation of it, like the detective that says, "Oh, this looks like, the husband did it." Well, it looks that way. You've got to test and check to make sure. Could it actually happen the way it's looking like it's supposed to have happened? When you actually check it and test it, inevitably, of course, it works out that it's not really possible. And no, it didn't happen this way. And that's very important. It cannot happen the way we think it can. And that's very important. We have shadow thoughts about things. Yeah. But when you actually think them through, like for instance, it's better to give than receive. We spoke about this on the video this morning, Bina, right?
Mm.
That sounds fantastic, yes?
I okay. This is the
But
one
but
of
but
the
but but
early
when we
understanding for me.
actually apply it, right? If
Yeah.
everybody is giving and it's better, we'll all be constantly giving to each other. And now I don't know what's good for you, so I'm giving you inappropriate stuff. Why not just rather stop the whole circle of inefficiency and say, look, just give to yourself, for heaven's sake. You know what you want best. Yeah. So now it's much more efficient in the actuality. It's one of the problems with gift giving that I didn't even mention, Bina, that also if it's better to give than to receive, right? I'm the one in the better position, and you, the receiving one, I'm basically putting you in a lesser position. Yes. That's not
Mm.
very cool. Yeah. But it's just inefficient. I mean, literally, if you had 100 people, right? And I say, okay, well, it's better to give than receive. Well, I'm giving to you, right? I have to guess what it is that you want. I may guess accurately, but I may guess incorrectly. Of those 100 givings, yes,
Mm.
some are going to be accurate and some aren't.
Yeah.
But so you're very unlikely to get the 100% success rate of efficiently giving what somebody else wants. However, if they were to give to themselves, I do have a 100% success rate. So it's just inefficient. Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't that incredible?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Fascinating to me.
Yes.
Absolutely fascinating. So my point is, it sounds great. And of course, who put this idea out there, this belief, and stressed it as something good, good, good? The BMNs. Because who benefits from this logic? The feudal lords, the feudal system, right? Oh, it's better to give than receive. Yeah, you the serf and the peasant down below, giving, giving, giving your whole life, and they just sucking you dry. Right?
Yeah.
What a genius manipulation to turn you from a slave that has to be forced to be a slave to a willing, freely participating slave. That's just that one little thing there. There's many others, but that one thing right there. Brilliant. Genius manipulation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you apply it in actual reality, right? If we say, oh, wow, okay, let's all do this, it stops working. Yes, Beena?
Yes.
Isn't that incredible? Isn't it absolutely incredible
Yep.
when we really start to think about things? Fascinating. And when we actually think to apply them practically in reality, right? And apply them, of course, when it's something that's like this, it implies for everyone to apply it for everyone. Then we suddenly see, oh, it cannot work as advertised. Yeah.
Mm.
Isn't that amazing, Beena?
Yep.
Testing, 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 testing. I gotta be, never mind life detectives, we need to be life scientists too. But a detective is a scientist. It's included.
Oh God.
And
Do
a
you know?
scientist is also a detective. So yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Do you know Meatloaf?
Yes, he died at
Yeah.
74.
Yeah. But he says that the rock star who died from COVID had recently spoken out against COVID protocols. He
Well,
says, "If I
that's,
die, I die." Meatloaf spurned COVID rules before death.
yeah. All right. But again, so all I can say is, dude, that you're an egotistical jackass. Because what logic is there to spurn that other than your ego?
Exactly. And
Where
this
was
is
the okay, if you're saying, well, look, I don't want to make all the effort to do this. Fine, if I die, fine, but I'm gonna have to do all this. Okay, I can understand that, that sort of makes sense. But there's no effort involved, there's no big deal involved. And now you want to come say, for what? Just ego. Yeah.
that's why I shared with you because of
Yeah.
course I'm not interested to make a post so to initiate this whole nonsense conversation about this uh, but
Yeah.
for people like Thomas Ryan, they need to listen to this and read this.
No. Oh, they don't want to because they're also stuck in that. So it's quite amazing. It's quite amazing, right, Beena?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it is.
Folly, 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 folly. So you all look all tough and now you're dead. Oh, good for you. Okay. That's your choice. Absolutely fascinating. So, you rather take a fairly known risk because you're looking to avoid a possible maybe risk, because I think some of their arguments, yeah, but it's a new vaccine. Um, um, a new vaccine and all this, a hastily made vaccine. A lot of people think because it came quickly, it was hastily made. No, they've been doing that research for 10 years. They just finished it up it was very lucky that they had it and were able to do so. But no, they didn't rush anything. Yeah, a little bit, yes, to finalize it, but they didn't take any shortcuts that weren't safe. Yeah. I know. I just find that people get stuck in their egos. It's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Like I said to Ryan, if you're wrong and you infect your kids, what the hell are you going to say afterwards if one of your kids gets sick and heaven forbids dies? You've been wrong before. You've been profoundly wrong before, and you've even acknowledged and admitted this. Yeah. Now,
Yes.
if you, what's the risk here? What are you risking? But forget it. Oh, I don't care about that. I'm willing to take that chance. Ego, 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 ego. It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. Yeah. Anyway, what were we talking about before that? Before meatloaf?
This is this story.
Oh, the practical applications. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Oh, sorry, I was busy. While you were talking, I was busy doing something. Yes.
Because it was on my news feed, and it reminds me of like how people can be like so sure about that. Of course, I'm not saying that people who are taking care, they are not getting effects of this COVID. Still, they are getting, but at least they're not part of that spreading thing. And of course, they are taking care. And still, if it happens, it happens. Of course, life doesn't stop, and you cannot control everything. But at least you take care of it. And
Yeah,
this is very, very, very crucial for the peace of your consciousness.
yeah. I got a quote from Beena B. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Take what Beena B has to say. Our character is a reflection of our deliberate choices. Either we
Yes.
choose to believe in any idea without thinking it through to the end. She didn't say to the end, but anyway, to the end, or we make impeccable choices. Every choice we make is the building blocks of our character. Beena B. Yes, Beena B.
Yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Very cool indeed. Very cool indeed. Okay. I'll get back to Thoreau in a secundo. All right. All right. All right. All right. Feeling we believe. Here we go. Okay,
Oh,
here we go.
before you start, I want to share something.
Oh,
There was something going on. I don't have details because this is something Umesh Bhai shared with me, and it was not about the specific details of that incident, but it was about like how by implication things makes completely different effects on other people. Okay, so like okay, you were saying something, but by implication it means something else. So it
yeah.
was between America and China, and it was an official discussion. So China said that, oh, like we are not against American things, and we're not doing against. It was something very specific, like okay, we don't have any intention to attack America or American economy. Yes, it was related to economy.
Oh,
We are not.
Right.
Yes, we are not willing to devalue dollar. Okay, we are not
Of
going
course
to do
not,
that.
because that's where all the money comes from. I was like, duh.
Okay,
Why would you go and
no,
attack
but
your customers? Come
so but
on.
they said that okay, and American whoever the representative, he says that okay, yes, okay, we appreciate that. And then later, again, Chinese people mention this again. We have no intention to devalue dollar, US dollar, and they don't have any risk for us. Second time, again, American officials just okay acknowledge that. The third time, later on, third time, when Chinese people mention that, American foreign minister, I guess, scheduled his visit to China. And he deliberately asked that, yes, now you are mentioning it three times. By implication, it means that there is something going on. So where is the potential threat?
Mm.
They were just saying that. So and then Umesh Bhai said that okay, yeah, it is. It was somewhere. So he says, Beena, sometimes when people say something, you understand that okay, what's going on there. So the repetition or the emphasis or just by implication, it could mean completely, totally opposite to what your words are showing or projecting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this idea, right? Like, okay, sometimes your emphasis, like Thoreau's emphasis on things like, okay, this is this. You're mentioning by implication, it means that these are the things, and everything else is not.
Right.
Implications,
So,
implications.
right. So the way
Really?
to resolve this is very simple. Let's get practical here. Right. What would actually happen if China were to start attacking America, making war on America? Well, nobody's going to buy America Chinese goods, and their whole economy would go to pot. China's biggest customer. Why would you want to sabotage your own customer? Makes no sense, right?
Of course, but the story, that's why I said that, okay, the specifics are irrelevant.
Yeah.
But the situation, the story is the moral of the story for us right now was to that okay, implications.
Yeah. Implications, very powerful, right? It's life detective again. All right.
Yes.
Implications are ridiculously powerful. Yeah. Yeah. Ridiculously so. Very, very, very powerful. Yeah. Very useful as well, right, Beena?
Yes.
And again, to apply practically, very, very useful. Yeah.
Yep.
Apply practically. Very useful. Very useful. Yeah. Now, right, just as a caveat here, to say, okay, we look at something like China, and we see that, well, practically, this would not be useful for them to attack America, because they'd mess up their economics, right? Because, by
Yes.
definition, if they attack America, they attack Europe, blah, blah, blah. But just because something is clearly, blatantly, obviously, and demonstrably not in someone's benefit, doesn't mean they don't do it.
Yes.
Yeah. So people can do things which are utterly idiotic and stupid and irrational and illogical. Right. And so this is just something to keep in mind.
And
Yeah.
also, they have the biggest. Okay, people say that I'm not sure exactly about this, but there was some news that China actually has the biggest reserve of US dollars. So why they are going to do that?
Yeah.
On top of it.
Exactly. If they devalue the dollar, they devalue what they have. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Exactamundo. All right. You want to read more?
Yes.
I want to think that men are not so much the keepers of herds as herds are the keepers of men. The former are so much the freer. Men and oxen exchange work, but if we consider necessary work only, the oxen will be seen to have greatly the advantage. Their farm is so much the larger. Man does some of his part of the exchange work in his 6 weeks of haying, and it is no boy's play. Certainly no nation that lived simply in all respects, that is, no nation of philosophers, would commit so great a blunder as to use the labor of animals. Huh? True. There never was and is not likely soon to be a nation of philosophers, nor am I certain it is desirable that there should be. However, I should never have broken a horse or bull or taken him to board for any work he might do for me, for fear I should become a horseman or a herdsman merely. And if society seems to be the gainer by so doing, are we certain that what is one man's gain is not another's loss, and that the stable boy has equal cause with his master to be satisfied? Granted that some public works would not have to be constructed without his aid, and let man share the glory of such with the ox and horse, does it follow that he could not have accomplished works yet more worthy of himself in that case? When men begin to do not merely unnecessary or artistic, but luxurious and idle work with their assistance, it is inevitable that a few do all the exchange work with the oxen, or, in other words, become the slaves of the strongest. Man thus not only works for the animal within him, but, for a symbol of this, he works for the animal without him. Though we have many substantial houses of brick or stone, the prosperity of the farmer is still measured by the degree to which the barn overshadows the house. This town is said to have the largest houses for oxen, cows, and horses hereabouts, and it is not behindhand in its public buildings. But there are very few halls for free worship or free speech in this country. It should not be by their architecture, but why not even by their power of abstract thought, that nations should seek to commemorate themselves? How much more admirable the Bhagavad Gita than all the ruins of the East. Towers and temples are the luxury of princes. A simple and independent mind does not toil at the bidding of any prince. Genius is not a retainer to any emperor, nor is it material, silver or gold or marble, except to a trifling extent. To what end, pray, is so much stone hammered? In Arcadia, when I was there, I did not see any hammering stone. I did not see any hammering stone. Nations are possessed with an insane ambition to perpetuate the memory of themselves by the amount of hammered stone they leave. What if equal pains were taken to smooth and polish their manners? One piece of good sense would be more memorable than a monument as high as the moon. I love better to see stones in place. The grandeur of Thebes was a vulgar grandeur. More sensible is a rod of stone wall that bounds an honest man's field than 100 gated Thebes that has wandered further from the true end of life. The religion and civilization, which are barbaric and heathenish, build splendid temples, but what you might call Christianity does not. Most of the stone a nation hammers goes toward its tomb only. It buries itself alive. As for the pyramids, there is nothing to wonder at in them so much as the fact that so many men could be found degraded enough to spend their lives constructing a tomb for some ambitious booby, whom it would have been wiser and manlier to have drowned in the Nile, and then given his body to the dogs. Dang, that's harsh on the pharaohs, but he's right. These were just rampant beer men's. And he's assuming that men gave their time. They didn't give, they were slaves, so they didn't volunteer for this nonsense. Right. I might possibly invent some excuse for them and him, but I have no time for it. As for the religion and love of art of the builders, it is much the same all the world over. Whether the building be an Egyptian temple or the United States Bank, it costs more than it comes to. The mainspring is vanity, assisted by the love of garlic and bread and butter, Mrs. Balcom. Huh? Oh, Mr. Balcom, assisted by the love of garlic and bread and butter. I have a theory on what's going on here. I'll tell you now when we get to the end of this. Right?
Okay.
Mr. Balcom, a promising young architect, designs it on the back of his Vitruvius with hard pencil and ruler, and the job is let out to Dobson and Sons, stonecutters. When the 30th centuries begin to look down on it, mankind begin to look up at it. As for your high towers and monuments, there was a crazy fellow once in this town who undertook to dig through to China. And he got so far that, as he said, he heard the Chinese pots and kettles rattle. But I think that I shall not go out of my way to admire the hole which he made. Many are concerned about the monuments of the West and the East to know who built them. For my part, I would like to know who in those days did not build them, who were above such trifling, but to proceed with my statistics. Okay, so look here now he starts with coming back to more detailed stuff, right? So look at this, right,
Yes.
almost 2 pages. What is all of this called right there? What is that called in internet language?
Internet language?
Yeah, what do they call when you see this like this? It's called wall of text. Yeah.
Yes, wall of text.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
like, okay, it's still
Right,
language.
right, right. Okay. So when does wall of text typically come? When people are ranting or Beena, when they are stoned.
Oh.
Bet you anything that Mr. Thoreau was engaging in some of the natural herbs that he has available to him to smoke. Yep.
Oh.
This thinking too. I suspect you've not had opportunity to observe the ramblings of people who are stoned on marijuana specifically.
No, never.
Right? You never had such an opportunity. Well, I hope you never do either, because they think it's all the greatest, most wonderful stuff, right? And not that they are saying nonsense, but it has the same format, right? Now, I mean, some of the things he says make sense, yes, but there's not really a flow here, and some of it makes no sense whatsoever, right? Like the thing with the garlic and all that, and this whole thing with the oxen and all this. Somewhere he had an idea, which shadow thoughts. Now, what happens with marijuana, Beena? That those shadow thoughts, when they come out and hit the light, they do not evaporate. Somehow the marijuana keeps them together, and they can actually end up on paper, or they can actually end up being said, and the person hears their shadow thoughts, and it sounds wonderful to them, and they think they are saying the most wonderful stuff. Now, not all his paragraphs, but this paragraph has that feel and smell to it. That ramblingness and that jumping from one topic to another and saying things that sound grand and wonderful. And yeah, some of it, okay, the pyramids, they were, but still, all of this, it's just jump, 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 ramble, ramble, ramble. Very interesting, yes?
Yes.
But again, it's not the whole of it. Some of the things he says are interesting and are fairly sensible, right? And then he comes to this kind of stuff where he gets real precise and detailed. And I don't think, he's smoking, right? So let's see. Next day or 2 days later, when he's sobered up, by surveying, carpentry, and day labor of various other kinds in the village in the meanwhile, for I have as many trades as fingers, I have earned 1334. Look at the jump here, Beena. Right? Look at all of this wall of text, and he starts off with the animals thing and all this. And when he left off with these numbers again, right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he started here. The next year, if I spaded up the land, he starts on this to say, but then, this thought comes into his head. He probably sat down after his labors, stuffed his pipe using the local grown tobacco, which marijuana grows wild. And this is what happened. Yeah. Yeah. Again, like I said, I've had experience with it, unfortunately, where I've had more than I cared to. My friend Arlene used to smoke all the time, and we'd go visit him, and he would ramble on like this. And it's like, seriously, dude, come on, man, come on, come on, come on. And I've seen others too. So, yeah, that's why I don't want to be anywhere near it, because you get this kind of rambling nonsense. But then he has this jump, right? And he goes back to his figures and stuff. So,
Yes.
yeah, I'm just saying, it's circumstantial evidence, but certainly it's not only from the circumstantial evidence that you can now perceive, but also based on my experience and putting it together. I'll put money on it. Yeah. It might not be marijuana, it might be alcohol. Also happens with alcohol, but this very much smacks of marijuana.
Mm.
Alcohol has a differentness to it. but it could have been two. All right. By surveying, carpentry, and day labor of various other kinds in the village, in the meanwhile, for I have as many trades as fingers, I have earned $13.34. That's a lot of money in those days, right? The expense for food, the expense of food for 8 months, namely from 4th July 1st, the time when these estimates were made, though I lived there more than 2 years, not counting potatoes, a little green corn, and some peas, which I raised. Not considering the value of what was on the land at the last date was. I mean, what did he build his house for? Did he build his house for $18, Beena?
Yeah, something like that. Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is almost half a house here, more than half a house. That's pretty good. Okay. Rice. I'm not going to read through all of this. Pork, Indian meal. All experiments which failed. Flour, it costs more than Indian meal, both money and trouble. Oh, interesting. Sugar, lard, yeah. Again, dude, if you're gonna be preaching your existence out on the unsum there by yourself, you gotta take sugar out of the equation, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, unless you live in a place where you can actually grow sugar, but there where he is at, nope, sorry, no sugar growing for you up there. Yes, I did eat $8.74 all told. Yes, you glutton. I mean, that's half a house, no? That he's eating,
Yes.
almost. But I should not thus unblushingly publish my guilt. Oh, I does feel a bit guilty about this gluttony there. If I did not know that most of my readers were equally guilty with myself, and that their deeds would look no better in print. This is quite cute, actually, yeah?
Mhm.
The next year, I sometimes caught a mess of fish for my dinner. And once I went so far as to slaughter a woodchuck, which ravaged my bean field. Effect his transmigration, as a Tartar would say, and devour him, partly for experiment's sake, and though it afforded me a momentary enjoyment, notwithstanding a musky flavor, I saw that the longest use would not make such a good practice, however it might seem to have your woodchucks readily dressed by the village butcher. It's kind of cute in a way. He's like, well, okay, I didn't eat the woodchuck because I was hungry. I ate him more out of satisfaction because he was annoying me and I didn't want to waste him, and to experiment a little bit. But woodchuck's not going to survive as a regular experiment on the dinner plate, right? Very interesting. Clothing and some incidental expenses within the same dates, though little can be inferred from this item. I counted $2. $8.42. All right. So that all the pecuniary outgoes, excepting for washing and mending, which for the most part was done out of the house, and their bills have not yet been received, and these all and more than all the ways by which money necessarily goes out in this part of the house were house $28, farm 1 year 14, food 8 months, clothing, oil 8 months, in all $61. Wow. I address myself now to those of my readers who have a living to get, and to meet this, I have for farm produce sold. Wow, $36. So he's running in debt here. So how did this work now?
Mm.
Yeah. Which subtracted from the sum of the outgoes leaves a balance of $25 on the one side. This being very nearly the means with which I started and the measure of expenses to be incurred. And on the other, beside the leisure and independence and health are secured, a comfortable house for me as long as I choose to occupy it. These statistics, both accidental and therefore unextractive, they may appear as they have a certain completeness, have a certain value also. Nothing was given me of which I have not rendered some account. It appears from the above estimate. Yeah, you did. You are not giving an account for great much things. The fish that you ate, where's the fish? See?
Mm. Yeah.
I mean, that's an expense. If he didn't have fish that he could fish, he would have to go and buy it or buy fish to replace it. So you didn't account for that. Furthermore, you didn't account for the actual property land value, which you didn't pay for. You just got it for free. Yeah. Right. So, okay. And also he hasn't included the cost of his tools. Huh? The hammer
Yep.
and the saw and all the stuff.
Yes.
He hasn't accounted for everything. All right. Nothing was given me which I have not read at some account. It appears from the above estimate that my food alone cost me in money about 27 cents a week. It was for nearly 2 years after this rye and Indian meal without yeast, potatoes, rice, and very little salt pork, molasses, and salt, and my drink water. Again, you got your water free. Anyway, it was fit that I should live on rice, mainly. Who loved so well the philosophy of India? Yeah, rice is a magical food. If you ever have to do some survival, make anything, make sure you have a big rice on hand, a bag of rice on hand. So if stuff happens and you need to live on food, no refrigerator, have a bag of rice. It will carry you for a long time. Right?
Yep.
Uh,
Yes.
right. Oh, another thing that he also popularized was Indian philosophy.
Ah.
Yeah, look, he mentions the Bhagavad Gita. He mentioned something else before, and he says, it was fit that I should live on rice. Mainly, who loved so well the philosophy of India? He's saying him, he loves well the philosophy of India. So it's fitting that he lives on rice. Yeah, okay. To meet the objections of some inveterate cavaliers, what's a cavalier? Oh. Oh, property, belongings, holding, material possession, reliance, certainty, trustworthy. Okay, so I guess a cavalier is a word for somebody living like him on his own. I may as well state that if I dined out occasionally, as I always had done, and I trust shall have opportunities to do again, it was frequently to the detriment of my domestic arrangements. But the dining out being, as I have stated, a constant element, does not in the least affect a comparative statement like this. I learned from my 2 years' experience that it would cost incredibly little trouble to obtain one's necessary food, even in this latitude, that a man may use as simple a diet as the animals and yet retain health and strength. I have made a satisfactory dinner, satisfactory on several accounts, simply off a dish of purslane. Oh, I don't know what purslane is either. Oh, herb, some kind of a herb. Oh, okay. Which I gathered in my cornfield, boiled and salted. I give the Latin on account of the savoriness of the trivial name. And pray, what more can a reasonable man desire in peaceful times, in ordinary noons, than a sufficient number of ears of green sweet corn boiled with the addition of salt? Where'd you get your salt from, by the way? Yeah. Anyway, even the little variety which I used was a yielding to the demands of appetite and not of health. Yet men have come to such a pass that they frequently starve, not for want of necessaries, but for want of luxuries. And I know a good woman who thinks that her son lost his life because he took to drinking water only. And I know a good woman who thinks her son lost his life because he took to drinking water only. Actually, I laugh at this, right? But there was a period in Europe where this was actually very literally true, right? People almost never drank water because water was generally unsafe to drink and it was a health hazard. So they mostly drank beer or wine because it have the alcohol and it's been treated and all this, it was actually safe to drink. Even children. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay. So where we are?
we are here. The reader will perceive that I'm treating this out, but the drinking water only. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We'll stop here.
Okay. Oh, you mean what page? I don't know what page this is. Doesn't say. I don't know.
We will search for drinking
Page
water
36.
only.
Page 36.
Okay.
Page 36 of 98. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but there's drinking water only. That's where it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So now, just before you go real quick though, if you think
Mhm.
back, you see, typically when he's writing, he really follows a train of thought really well. Yes.
Yes.
But that whole wall of text, no, none of that was present. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and he does say here with that herb that obviously he is paying attention to the herbs around him. So, and that was that was very well known back in those days because there was a actual hemp industry and all of that. And then when it became illegal, all of that died, and it was a big deal. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'll Google it to see if Thoreau was smoked or not. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's noticed this. Yeah. Anyway, it wasn't uncommon. That's my point, as far as I understand. So we'll see if he mentions it somewhere. All right. You sleep amazingly well, Beena. Amazingly well.
Yeah.
So sleep cogently.
Mhm.
Yeah. Don't lose your cogency like I did or like Mr. Thoreau is doing over here. Yeah. So no HDing in your sleep, right? That's what happens. My dream self is wow. Yeah. Yeah, well, what's my dream self smoking? Smoking unawareness. That's what. Anyway. Fascinating. Fascinating. Implications. Implications to marvelous Beena when we really start to observe the world. It just explodes into moreness. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And I write that as a
Yes.
quote. It's a nice quote.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. All right. Brilliant, Beena. Brilliant. 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 Yes. Love you, Beena. See you tomorrow. We've got all day tomorrow. It's nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
No, we got all.
I I was thinking about that Buddha and the monkey and the dreamer.
Oh, you're gonna write that story. Yes, very
Yes.
good, Beena.
So
And of course, finish your Jonathan story too.
yes. So this thing is that. Okay, in this case, I just saw a picture of a girl there. So not me. So I'm just going to take it as a character. So the girl, the story will starting from where the girl is down there and she just looked at Buddha's face and say, and because of the closed eyes and a bit of a smile, divine smile there. And she didn't get it like who he is. So it's not a statue. It's for her. It is like she is talking to someone. So from down there, she sorry.
Ah, that particular Buddha, I would say who they are. That Buddha can be either male or female. And
Okay.
Buddha means enlightened one. It doesn't mean a male guy called Siddhartha Gautama, right?
Okay.
So,
Yes. This is
so,
good.
so
This is
it's not. It's so who they are, not him
Mhm.
or her. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So she is not considering that as a statue of Buddha, but as Buddha.
Yeah.
Okay, and then not aware that okay, even Buddha, just as was some being. That's it. So she in her bubble awareness start to make some sound and asking like, hey there, hey you, what's up? Can you see? Can you hear me? That type of thing. And
Wow.
and the Buddha is seems like completely ignoring or not even listening anything at all.
Yeah.
And she was like, and then she just yeah, okay, scream a bit, like really shout out loud and says, hey, you smashed nose one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And okay, the monkey laugh.
Yeah.
And then the Buddha noticed something is going on. So with his eyes still closed,
Yeah.
he just made a bit, tiny bit of space there and try to look like what's going on there. And she said, I see you, I see you. here I am. Buddha was like, huh, you
Wow.
just breathe. And he says, okay. And then she start climbing up
Wow.
and literally just sit on her knee.
Look at me. Wow.
So now,
Wow. Sitting on Buddha's knee, yeah?
yes, so now a girl, a dreamer on Buddha's knee and a monkey on his shoulder. Yeah?
Wow. Wow. I
Yeah.
love this. I love this. I love it. Oh, it's great. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. I forgot my quote now. I got all absorbed in your story.
Or it explode in moreness. Okay, what it was?
Explode into possibility, I thought I said.
No, moreness.
Oh, what explodes into moreness? I forgot. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't
Oh,
matter.
I'm so sorry. Okay, but we have
Oh, no, it's
recording.
not you. It's not you. It's me. It's me. It's me.
It's recording.
Yeah. I can go look it up. It wasn't that critical. Don't worry about it.
No, but
Come
it's
again.
still, it's a quote.
Yeah. Keep going with your story though. And then what happens?
Okay, so now Buddha actually, I start thinking like, okay, so what these guys are up to. So he's not worried, but he's like, okay,
Who's not worried?
Buddha is not worried,
Thank you.
but okay, that okay, oh, this monkey on my shoulder, and that okay, this dreamer on my knee, and making noises and calling me a smash nose one. What you are up to?
Yes.
Completely
What
not.
are you up to, girl? Yeah.
Yeah, so like, and when she's asking Buddha, like, what you're up to? Why you're sitting here? She is not considering him as Buddha, as a somewhat enlightened one.
Not him, them.
Yes, okay, we will change that. Okay,
Yeah.
and Buddha, in his dhyan, he's thinking about the universe introducing these two, which seems like on surface both of the same character. She's also like, okay, a bit naughty, like the monkey I have. The monkey is acting like a philosopher, just contemplating life and all these things while sitting here. But also what they are representing, they are showing ownership. She's sitting on my knee and she's completely owning this. He's sitting on my shoulder and completely owning this. Interesting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And does Buddha see some of themselves in the monkey and in the girl?
Exactly. This is how it is going
And
to start.
yeah.
So the mostly it is going to be the whole story is going to be from Buddha's perspective of those people, not their perspective of Buddha.
Yeah, very cool, Beena. Very cool. Very cool. And maybe Buddha seeing the monkey through the girl's eyes and the girl through the monkey's eyes and through Buddha's eyes.
Yes. So how you like this start?
Why, it's fabulous. Fabulous. Very exciting. Very exciting. I'm keen for more. I'm keen to see your story, Beena, but I'm keen to see your Jonathan takeaway first, because otherwise that'll go, you know.
No. It's not going to just go away. Hopefully tomorrow is going to be the final day for that, because I have already a lot of stuff there.
Wow. 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 All right. Very good, Beena. Very good. Very good. Very good.
Hmm. So I just add my expression in Buddha's language.
Oh, and that is?
It's like, hey, you up there? Yeah, hey, down there. Yeah, I'm here.
Wow.
Come on, you can hear me. I know. Yeah, can you see me?
Yeah.
Buddha in their dhyan heard someone was trying to get their attention. Buddha was not willing to disrupt their peace. But then something happened. She shouted, "Hey, you smash nose one up there." Instead of divine smile, Buddha laughed. Like, seriously? Did she really call me this?
Yeah. 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 Keep going, Beena. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Because, of course, there is no mirror there. And it's been very long, Buddha is just sitting there. So he or they are not aware that the nose is smashed or broken or
Right.
not intact
Exactly.
anymore.
Right.
So
Right.
for him, okay, I'm using the word him again. For
Yeah.
them, it's funny that how could she even say something like this?
Yeah.
He?
Yeah.
Oh no, come on. Like, because people used to compliment with a smile, but now someone calling them, you smash nose one.
Right. Like it's got an ugly nose. Yeah.
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 So this is something funny, and like he is
Yeah.
laughing inside. It's a inner laughter. Like, seriously, how did
Yeah.
she really call me this? My nose is smashed.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Ignore Buddha. Ignore.
Brilliant. 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 Love that, Beena. Love that. Love that.
just fun thing, yeah.
Yeah. Erica says hi. Did you hear? Erica says hi.
No, I'm coming.
Oh no, I'm just telling you. She just put in
Okay.
messenger because I said, oh, you
Okay.
know what? You
Okay.
can come chill and hang out with us a little bit if you want. She says, thank you. I'm resting and napping at the moment, but we'll join if I get more energized. Hi to Beena.
Oh yes. Okay. Hi, Beck.
Yeah. Mm.
Okay. Okay. So the monkey name is, at least from Buddha's perspective, is wannabe.
Wannabe with a
Yeah.
W?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. So dreamer is different, wannabe is different, and of course Buddha is different.
So the girl's name is Dreamer?
So far, dreamer, because I'm calling her a
Ah,
dreamer because it
yeah.
is I'm intending to make this whole story as her dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
In her dream, she appeared and like, okay, in front of Buddha's statue, and in words, and a monkey was sitting on his shoulder,
Mm.
and she didn't realize that okay, that she just appeared in the ongoing story of Buddha and monkey and everything else also. She just assumed that because she appeared, so she has all the relevance, and she
Yeah.
must be aware of everything. So she is kind of naive in this thing, that she don't consider the story, what story is going on, and who these people might be, what is their status and stature, and the value and everything. So she just appeared wherever she appeared in her dream. She started living that life, like she she was always there. She is part of it, and she know everything.
Oh.
See, this is the theme. So the
Yeah.
dreamer is, this time at least, she appeared on in front of Buddha's statue, where
Oh.
the monkey wannabe was sitting on his shoulder. This is the approach. This is the vibe I had from that monkey sitting
Yeah.
on the shoulder
Yeah.
of Buddha. It's like wannabe.
I love it. I love
That's
it.
it.
I love it. I love it. It's very cool. Very cool.
And the character of a dreamer, she just she's a normal human being, but she has this thing where she, in her dream, she can be anywhere, always interesting, unusual, different places, different stories. And she just entered in the middle of the story. It's not like that she is going to initiate some stories in her dream. No, she always go there, just appeared in middle of
Mm.
like a story or act going on, and then like Buddha and wannabe was there. They were having their own things, but she appeared there, and she started living that life as a part of it. Oh, I'm also here. So what Buddha is up to, what this wannabe is doing. So this is her story. She's a dreamer, and she, in her dreams, she appeared in the stories of others and start living that.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, she has some sort of experimental ability to be deliberate in her dream. but not as a skill. She is not completely skilled, but she has this experimental ability sometimes to be deliberate in her dream. Not always.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Keep going with your story, Beena.
I'm writing down something. Okay. So because I don't know, I'll just my subconscious mind, my intuitive mind, just put this tree on quest. So I'm going to add some question, and the question will be like Buddha is going to be actively participating in this conversation. Somehow a question will appear in their conversation, from their conversation, and then Buddha will open his eyes or their eyes and they say, okay, now it is getting interesting. And they both, and the three of them will start actually having deep conversation about that question.
Yeah,
So wannabe will add the the logical side, the motivational side of this world, that how people think of every about every question, even all the divine questions for humanity, they think of in terms of motivation. So wannabe will add that part. The dreamer will add the all the intuitive part, like which they are not really care about anything at all. They just live in their own bubble, and she is going to add her intuitive side into that. But Buddha is
oh,
going to actually introduce the spiritual, and of course you can say that true essence of that question and their aspects of that into this.
yeah,
And then they all will search for that, okay, which perspective is really accurate and profound. So this is the quest. So Trayvon quest is going to be like that. So that's why I say that the dreamer has this experimental ability. So sometimes she is going to be deliberate and she will call Buddha or wannabe or both of them in her dreams. In other stories,
see, so there are going to be more stories. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, in different stories, like okay, if
Ah,
whenever
I
some
like that.
on somewhere else, if the dreamer appeared on North Pole with Eskimos or something, and then she will call Buddha dear. That okay, she will try
Wow.
to. So and then okay, a Buddha there, and then wannabe also there, and they are going to be like okay, now figure out that what's going on there, what's their life, how they live, what are their ethics, and how it actually makes sense, their
Yeah,
whole life makes sense to people, and why it is necessary to for human being to be there in those circumstances.
yeah,
Just for example, or like a dreamer just saw, she will see some, she will had a dream, and then in that dream a huge spaceship, and she will try every her best to actually invite Buddha and wanna be there to experience that dream, to actually understand that.
Wow.
So see,
Wow.
this is the idea of
Wow.
story, short stories. Yeah.
I love it, Beena. If you write a lot of short stories, they become a novel. Yeah. Just how it works. Bye.
Yes.
You know, there's no length to any stories. Longer is not better than shorter, and so on and so forth. You know, I'm just saying. You know, it's just interesting. Yeah. I love this, Pina. I just love that you're writing a story. Just love it.
Okay, so I just what I shared with you, I just noted down. So see, this whole thing came up with my own picture there underneath that cover photo.
Yeah.
So it makes
Yeah.
it true for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I
It's just the
just made it true.
fortuitousness of it, in other words. Yes.
Yeah, it again. Just look at it again. Uh, yeah.
I love it.
See,
It's very cool.
see,
Yeah. Yeah.
just look at it.
Yeah. 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 Made that little fortuitous triangle. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
That Buddha
Buddha
looks very
wanted.
Japanese, by the way. Bina,
Yes.
I'm saying that
Yeah.
Buddha looks very Japanese, by the way.
That's why she called him. Oh, hey you, the smash nose one.
Mm.
Okay, and here is this wannabe.
Yeah.
So wannabe is a bit sophisticated one. He is not going to, or she is not going to represent primitive mindset. No,
Yeah.
he's going to do to share the perspective of all the motivation or ambition based perspectives. So he's
Wow.
not like a representation of,
Ambition or aspiration?
no, ambition. It's a
Oh,
bit.
not aspiration.
No. He's going to add the ambition side perspectives, not primitive, but
Wow.
ambition. So, okay,
Wow.
yes, it is, but it's a bit of sophistication there. That's why he is wannabe.
Yeah.
That's why the name is wannabe.
Yeah. Well, no, but it could be wannabe that he wants to be a Buddha.
It's still ambition.
Okay. Well, it could be aspiration. To be a Buddha is more aspiration than ambition.
Then it's going to be a different thing. Then it is going to be, of course, some sort of awareness will kick in, and then it will shift into aspiration. But
Yeah.
right now, sitting on Buddha's shoulder, wanna be something.
Oh,
The
very
motivation
cool.
side,
Very cool.
ambition side.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool, Bean. Well, keep going with the story. Keep going, keep going, keep going. When you're hot, you got to trot, right?
Yes, I'm writing it down.
So I'm saying, when you're hot, you got to trot.
What it means.
Well, let's say hot to trot. When the horses are, they trot, canter, trot is like tum tum, up and
Ah,
down. So it just means that keep going when you're hot, when you're going, when things are bubbling and boiling, keep going. So
yes.
just playing with the words a little bit here. Hot to trot is an expression that means eager.
Actually, this is very interesting that uh, I can I can put anything in their conversation, and now I have three characters, which are the representation of three different sides or different perspectives. So, okay, uh, these are, of course, Buddha, but what you actually made him, that it's them. So it's like, okay, multi being, like multiverse.
Yeah.
So he is,
Yeah.
Buddha is also a representation of multi
Yeah.
being.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
this,
Buddha is a representation
or
of
meta being.
beingness.
Okay, or
Exactly,
meta
meta
being.
being,
Yes.
which includes
Yes.
all possible
Yes.
types of being. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So meta being,
Because
and then
Buddha includes both monkey and dreamer.
so of course, and many other also. So the meta
Exactly.
being, which is going to be like really interesting one. Okay, I need to write that.
Yeah, please
Buddha
do. Please do.
is meta being. This is very cool term for this. So okay, and so we can add any perspective, multiple perspective from Buddha because it's a meta being now, and wannabe is everything which is coming from any type of ambition. So like, okay, this whole corporate sector thing, this whole wanna help others things, and all these type of things, so will come from this wannabe. Is not completely a like or a primitive mindset, but a bit sophisticated one, but not entirely disconnected
Yeah.
from that primitive mindset. So that's why sitting on shoulder of Buddha, kneading and dripping something there. So okay. And the dreamer is someone who is who has some ability to see and perceive moreness, but not skilled yet. So there is a potential. Yeah. So okay. So not skilled one. That's why I said that some experimental abilities. She has some experimental abilities. So
Yeah.
not really a skilled one there, but she definitely has some ability to perceive moreness.
Very cool.
So this is really good. And of course we can add some other characters like cat. Always love to sleep on Buddha's lap. A character of a cat. And
Wow.
hummingbirds. And hummingbirds, which is like, okay, so we can add different characters there. Yeah. and
Yeah.
and by incorporating all of them, we can put any question, any idea, and then start. Okay, this is Buddha's perspective, this is wannabe's perspective, this is dreamer's perspective, and what would be the character of cat? Okay, we'll see.
Ah, I like the introduction of the cat. Things are getting very interesting in here now.
Okay, hummingbird, I don't know if maybe it will seem like a complete nonsense, but right now hummingbird is going to be
Oh,
a representation of communication. Okay, I don't know how and why, but I'm going to just hummingbird will appear, and we will emphasize on how communication is a haphazard business, and you how you overheard something, then how sometimes you lose things, how it is always in process. So like hummingbirds, they don't usually sit somewhere, they just always on what is the word for their not flapping, their wings. Okay, I will see.
oh,
So a hummingbird is going to be communication itself, not just like, okay, this is how the but the communication itself, a hummingbird.
wow.
Yeah, you'll see. Communication itself. I need to have a print screen for this. Where is screen? Because this is the source of inspiration for this story. So I need to save it like this. Yes. Okay, got it. Just in case, sending you also. Oh, sure. Actually, oh my God, it's a huge response you made.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, I'm reading. Okay, of course
okay.
you are going to read that. But
No, no, no.
since the
I will listen to your reading,
okay,
and then
Sir
let me just go to the
Sebastian,
post.
after I
Hold on one
okay,
second. Beena.
okay.
Where is this now? Is this the pin post? Oh no.
No,
Oh
I
no.
just got a
Okay, I
notification.
know. Yeah, I've got it. I've got it. I've got it. I've got it. I just want to read along with you.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Sebastian, after I reread my post, I didn't finish expressing what it was I was trying to say. So yes, you are absolutely on target. As Bina, she spelled me
No,
like
no, no,
Bina.
no, 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 no. It's not that she's misspelling your name. It is from speech to text.
Okay, okay.
They never
As
can get Bina right. The best they get is actually Bina like that, not Bina. Remember, we've tried it many times.
yes,
Remember?
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that's
as
why
Bina.
it happens. She will clean it up, but she missed that one to clean it up
Okay,
because
as
it didn't
Bina had.
flag it with a red line. Yeah. See.
Yes,
Okay.
okay. As Beena had said, my scheduled time with while Larry was alive was a schedule that suited me as was appropriate for that time. After he passed, I knew that consistency was important, and so I tried to maintain that schedule
Jeez.
that we had established. When I was
Yeah.
not able to maintain the schedule that we had established, I was belittling myself for not having motivation, for not healing, for not being able to get past the grief. And so,
Yeah.
yes, that tied into this awareness, this recognition that came to that I came to that my time is my own and that I can choose my schedule as is appropriate for me, was in many ways letting Larry go. It was me stepping
Exactly.
over a threshold from grief, the darkness of grief, into the daylight where I am aware of my surroundings and the elements and can look behind into that darkness and see that I was really unnecessarily hard on
There you
myself.
go.
I became aware of what I was unaware of. So,
Yeah.
another passage of a level of grief, expectance of myself, and
Acceptance.
appreciation. Acceptance of myself and appreciation for a new level of self awareness.
Yeah.
Okay, completely beautiful, beautiful.
Write it
Um,
there. Write it. Write it as a
yeah.
reply.
My focus is just like just to make it real obvious that don't curse yourself for what you were doing in the past. That's it.
Exactly.
This is what I
But
want.
she's appreciating the awareness now. She isn't kind of saying that for the past. So she is doing that actually. Yeah. She is actually doing it. She isn't cursing herself. She is actually appreciating herself for the awareness now. Yeah. I need to go for a walk, but I'm too tired. Dang it. Didn't sleep so fantastically. I couldn't get to sleep. I was listening to my story and a very exciting story, and then I kept listening more and more. And eventually it was like 11 o'clock before I got to sleep. And I thought, I'll sleep till 7. That's 8 hours. Well, I didn't sleep till 7. I slept till 6, just past 6, but still. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
My punctuation. Okay, doing so. Stupid jokes.
Oh yeah, like what?
Posting it.
Oh. By the way, the reason that I like those emojis is because I can type them, Beena.
Mm.
I don't have to
Ah,
go to the emoji button and select them. I just type it. It's very quick.
yep.
Right? You with me?
Yes. Yes. I cannot. So you have this ability.
Well, you can too. It's just colon close bracket for smiley face, or colon P for cheeky face, colon capital D for laughy face,
Oh,
and less than 3 for heart.
less than 3 for
Yeah, unless you got pressure, until you got pressure on him, not to him.
I didn't type that, so it is.
Okay. Oh, until the pressure got to him. Oh, I see. Oh no, then it's right. No, never mind. Till the pressure got to him. I've been listening to Beena too long. See, so Beena speaking now.
Wow. Wow.
It's a compliment. I'm saying I've been paying so much attention to you that
No, I know that by implication what it means.
I don't know. You tell me. I'm listening. I was just
I
enjoying you
know what
and
it
loving
means
you. And
by implications. So
yeah, 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 yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Wow. Very good. Very, keep writing your story, Beena. Keep writing your story. Don't let go there. Beena, did you leave?
yes,
Did I
yes,
touch
yes,
the one?
yes, yes.
Oh.
This is actually a very interesting idea
What is?
to introduce different things as in forms of animals and birds, like
Yes. Yes.
communication in form of uh,
Yes.
hummingbird,
Yeah. Beena, see,
or
this is
social
part.
media, or
Yeah.
social media as hummingbird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beena, see,
Yes.
now you've shifted into the mindset and the logic and the understanding and the rationalization and or rationality and the overall sensibility of the revelationary visionary.
Hmm. Hmm.
Who do you think wrote the myths?
Sorry.
Who do you think wrote the myths?
Ah, visionary people. Yeah.
A revelationary visionary. What are myths but taking abstract conceptions and putting them into some realized form? Yes? Yes? So, Beena, I would absolutely highly recommend and suggest you write myths.
Hmm.
This is where you're at. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. So, what do you think? I think that this is more precise for hummingbird to be as social media connectivity, social media thing, the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
concept of social media as a
Yeah.
hummingbird, not communication. No, communication is too big for hummingbird because it has so many things.
Right. But just when you think of myths, there's a kind of a style and a feel to myths, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't write. They write about monkey not as a monkey, but monkey. It's a difference,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Monkey did this, not the monkey. See,
Mm-hmm.
they're writing about the abstract quality of monkey. See, or
Mm-hmm.
in your case, monkey as ambition. See,
Yes.
right? But it's not the monkey. It's monkey.
Hmm.
It's a difference, right? Because you're writing about that abstractness. It's in a time where monkey represents monkeyness of a kind. See, it's not a
Hmm.
particular monkey, it's monkeyness that's being written about. In other words, it's the abstract quality. Now, in this case, hummingbird is representing some abstract quality. So hummingbird did this and hummingbird did that, but it's not the hummingbird. See, it's hummingbird. It's different,
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, look, when they talk about um, 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 Apollo or Hera or whoever, it's Apollo, not the Apollo. Yes, it is the actual name, but Apollo is also the godness. See, or if you say Krishna or Shiva or whatever, you're talking about the whole abstract encapsulation that goes into that, right?
Hmm.
But anyway, you'll see as you start writing more in this style, it will come automatically, Beena, because you are writing about the abstract things, right?
It is going to be. It seems like it started with something very limited, of course, very small, but now it
But it's
is.
just how your brain is set up, which is so beautiful and magical and wonderful. Fabulous, Beena. Fabulous, 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 fabuloso, fabuloso. Hello, world, world, hello, world, hello, world, hello, 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 world, hello, world. Wait, wait, wait. Hello, world, hello, world, hello, world. Banging coming up. Banging finished. You know, the other thing with myths is, Beena, is that they exist in a place which is outside of time and space, right?
Hmm.
You know what I mean, Beena?
Mm-hmm.
So myths don't well, sometimes in general myths don't have that definitiveness to them. You know what I mean? And they don't have things which bring them into today's world in so much. Okay, you're saying social media, but still you're making this a modern myth. But you know what I mean, that they don't have a time and a place specifically. They exist in a different reality. Yeah,
Yeah.
you understand what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah. It's very cool. I love myths. I love myths. Very cool. Very cool indeed. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I finally managed to dry all my toilet paper, by the way, Beena.
Sorry?
I say I have all my toilet paper dried out.
Oh, good.
Yeah, all 18 rolls got wet.
Wow.
I dried them on the heater. They got a little bitty misshapen. Can you see? You see, Beena?
Coming.
Oh,
Yes.
don't worry
Oh,
about it.
yes. Yes.
Yeah, because of the weight of each other when they were wet, it pushed them a bit out of shape. Hey, it
Yes.
works, so I don't have to throw it away.
So this is interesting that
Not a
I
huge
have,
expense, but still, you know, I don't need to waste when I don't need to.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
right?
Yes. Why to waste when you can
Exactly.
save? Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So
Well,
this is
there is a reason to waste because waste, Beena, to answer your question, why to waste? Because waste creates wealth.
Okay, so this is interesting that I have three characters. Okay, more than three now, but in a bit detail, a defined one,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and or you can say the constant one are going to be three characters: a dreamer, Buddha,
Three main
and
characters. That's what you're trying to say. Yeah.
yes, yeah,
You have three main characters and then you have the supporting characters. Right.
yes. The supporting character is hummingbird, which is a representation of social media, and
Cat.
and cat,
Yeah. And more
which
will
I have.
come as you go along.
Yes, and which I haven't actually like defined yet what cat is going to do, or maybe just nothing at all.
Yeah.
Just come
Yeah.
and be,
Yeah.
just be,
Yeah.
just be. The
Yeah.
cat name could be just be.
Yeah. Yeah. So something that I need to do more of, and I don't do enough of, and I know it, and I'm just a bit lazy as a writer. The trick to writing is, well, first define your story. So the person is very clear what the story is about, right? And so that they don't, that makes to say what the story isn't, right? So it must be kind of clear what the story is in the beginning, okay? Now that you don't have to lay it out in a direct way, but by implication, they need to know, oh, this is a story about whatever, right? You see what I mean, Beena? And then as they go along, they figure out the story and it makes more and more sense.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's step number one. And then
Mhm.
lazy to do is simply pull the reader into the scene. Once you succeed in doing this, then they are hooked. And that means you've got to be detailed about some things, right? So detail in describing how your characters look, or the place, or the time, or the situation, or the scene. But do anything which will, not the story, not the words, but the scene. You see the difference, Beena? There's a difference between getting immersed in listening. Okay, we get immersed in Thoreau, yeah, but we're not
It
getting
was
immersed in
deliberate.
any scene. Yeah, yeah, right. But what I'm saying is we're not getting immersed in any scene. Sometimes, yes,
Mhm.
right? Like when he's describing the house, for instance. But a scene is visual. And once you can succeed in drawing somebody into a visual, now they don't have to in their mind see what you see. That's not necessary. As long as they see something, right? That's the key. What they see does makes no difference whatsoever. So if you draw them into a scene where they creating this, and okay, visual, and that's it, right? From there on, their brain will keep adding stuff and putting it together and all this. Now, of course, as you come to a new scene, you have to pull them into the new scene and keep them immersed. But you'll be amazed, and especially with the characters, when they can see the character and identify in some way, immerse, like feel the character's personality or their wants and their desires and their motivations. That's all stuff that pulls them in. And that's what you want, that engagement, that pulling in. Yeah. Make sense, Beena?
Mhm. Yes.
So that's just the secret of the writing, really. And then after that, it's just telling the story. The struggles and the triumphs and all.
Okay, so for me, the basic idea was when I saw that picture,
Yeah.
all three together, I said, okay, it's a trio there, right there. because of the colors also, visual was very interesting for me. Color harmony and everything. So they seems like they belong to the same root, which is very interesting. That Buddha and the dreamer. Okay, I named myself that picture as a dreamer, yeah, which is not my character, but I said okay as a dreamer. And I have this story. The basic idea of the story is that they are going to be in conversation with each other. They are going to, of course, explore and share things. Okay, it could be completely different to normal questions, normal things, and could be same irrational things also, or just force of circumstance, like something happened around them. And but the tricky part is, like in Sophie's world type of trickiness, that it is all going to be in her dream. And
Yeah.
she has
I love
some,
this. I love this. I love this.
and then I'm using the term that okay, it's an experimental ability she has, that sometimes she can be deliberate in her dreams. So she tried to bring wannabe, especially wannabe and Buddha in her dreams.
Mm.
So this is the basic idea of the story, and the story will develop around their conversation, which is might sometimes might not be philosophical, yes, but always at the foundation going to be philosophical,
Very cool, Beena. Very
not
cool. Oh, I got to
necessarily
look
on
at your.
surface. So okay, so this is the idea. I have three characters, and they are going to be in conversation or exploration also, and of course Buddha will be like an anchor, and also as you gave me this idea of Buddha being plural, and then I named it meta being, and now we are going to introduce this in the myth, that it is going to evolve around that meta being concept, and this is the ultimate wannabe thing to be meta being.
Say that last part again, please.
This is some, I'm just saying that this meta being, like Buddha is now, we have this term of meta being.
Yeah.
The whole wanna be idea is to be a meta being instead of a just being. It is to be a meta being. This is the ultimate wannabe thing. Okay, not particular to the to the monkey only, but to monkey only, but to everyone.
Very cool.
Pulverized grain and fermentation, fungus, colorified.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
and
so
charcoal.
so so, yeah. So I have a fun story, right? And what it
Mhm.
is you reading a leaked file from the secret government, some government agency, right? And the file is, you just basically catch this in the middle of the file. So it's not the whole file, it's a fragment. And what it is a report by somebody who's observing something, right? Actually, sorry, it is their cell phone is on accidentally, right? So
Mhm.
you this is a report about what the video that, and it was accidentally went to video record, and what the video recorded. And
Mhm.
what it records is an alien asleep at his station, and there's a TV going, right? Well, an alien TV, right? He's watching some like a talk show, yeah. And but you see the alien is dozing off and he's not paying attention, and you get some idea that, well, this person is on, some experiments being done to him, or he's, by the aliens, he's been abducted. But of course, the guard fell asleep. He's a bit drunk, and anyway, so this is why the phone was able to record this, right? But this is the key, though. This is the setup, yes? That the phone is recording the alien sleeping, and the alien is watching this program. And it's like a talk show, an alien talk show, right? And this is the thing. So in on the talk show, there is the subtitling in English, so that the guard can learn English, right? Or the
Mhm.
subtitling in alien language, and it's being dubbed into English. So you get the both languages going thing, right? So this is part of the, so, or not guard, but the alien. Maybe it's not a guard, so just a worker. Let's just call him a worker rather, right?
Mhm.
So obviously they goofing off on the job. So, but the talk show, right? So the report is about aliens and all this, but obviously this is incidental, right? And in the incidentalness, we get the story of what the talk show is talking about. And what they are talking is, they are just talking of bread, right? It's called the Great Bread Debacle. Yes.
Your sound is off,
So,
sir. Say it again. Say it
oh,
again. Your sound was off.
sorry. So what the talk show, the alien talk show, is about, is the topic is, at the bottom the scroll is the Great Bread Debacle, right? And so you hear one guest saying something like, yes, first of all, what they do is they take, and then this fancy name, right? What did you call it there? A
Pulverized
pulverized
grain.
grain and
Yes.
fermented. Yes, and the fermented fungus, and then they produce a product from it, which they consume for a short period of time, and then they set it aside and don't consume again. Right now, what happens is the bread gets dehydrated, or this product, right?
Yes.
This food stuff gets dehydrated. Okay, well, they set it aside to dehydrate, and very well. But then they come and they dehydrate it further. Hello, this doesn't make
Uh-huh.
much sense, right? And then
Mhm.
to top it all, they rehydrate it. And now in the background, they're showing a clip of a human, of course, with the bread. They cut it, they eat a bit, and then they set it aside. They come back later, they cut some more, or they take a slice and they put it in the toaster. So as they're talking about dehydrating it further, you see them put it in the toaster, right? And then when they take it out, then they rehydrate it, then they put butter on it. It's like, and all the other guests just laugh like crazy. And they're like, what's the logic here? Why hydrate the bread in the first place? Why not just make it dehydrated to start with? If this is where you end up going, right? And they have this whole big discussion on the absolute ridiculous foolishness of humans when it comes to bread, right? And well, of course, toast now in terms of hydration and dehydration, right? So it's the big, what's this pulverized grain hydration debate? Yes. So never mind, that it's aliens and they're abducting people and all this. No, it's what's on the TV. And, this is the thing but most people, of course, miss this because they're just paying attention to the alien sleeping, whatever. But that's the fun part. Now you have this big satire, right? Basically, which is, of course, the aliens not understanding what's going on and assumptions leading them completely astray. But of course, in the end, this is like, and seriously, these people wonder why we don't stop here. Really? This kind of madness? To what end? How do you now communicate with somebody who has this degree of illogicality and irrationality? And they go on and on. It's a whole talk show, right? Anyway.
Yeah. So we have a comic poet here, mostly in Punjabi, but also in Urdu. So he wrote a poem, a whole big poem about meatballs, which are called kofta in Urdu or in Arabic.
They called
So
what?
kofta,
Kufta.
Kofta, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he actually says that this is the human mind is simply amazingly illogical. At first, they make uh, cubes of meat. First, they make meat and then make cube and then make like mince it and then mince it further and then make smooth balls and then cook it and then of course when they start chewing it again mincing it and then it's like what was the whole process it's about. So it's a funny thing, but of course it has a lot to think about. Sometimes seems when we look at things from a different perspective, it seems very irrational, illogical, and especially when it comes to personal tastes and likes and dislikes. You cannot understand that because just for the different taste, this whole exercise, this whole waste of energy for other people, just for what? Just for that particular texture you want for just 2 inches of your under your mouth. That's it. So it seems very illogical, but he made it very funny.
Right. And that's what makes the whole joke work, right? Because we all understand bread. It's very, very sensible to us. But their arrogance and their presumption, and of course they have a different system there, So again, that's the whole joke here. Don't presume, don't assume, the deeper layered point of it all.
Yeah. Okay.
Very cool. I like things that are indirect. And again, too, Beena, in your own story, it's about communication, right? So just know what it is that you're looking to communicate. Yes.
I know.
Doesn't mean it's one thing, of course. You saw in the stories that we've been reading multiple things. You're communicating an adventure, you're communicating drama, you're communicating, stress and risk and resolution and thoughtfulness and etc etc etc. You communicating hundreds of things, yes.
Yeah.
But know your main things that you're doing. Very simple, really. I'm just sharing with you. I trust that you will write a fantastic myth story because that's just what you do. I see it in your poetry already. You have that mindset of that connection to the ineffable. So just feel your story. Don't think it. Feel it. Write what you feel. Write what you feel. Write what you feel. Don't write what you think. Yes. Yeah. As soon as you write what you think, it gets sterile. Yes. It's true. Write what you feel. Write what you feel. That's why your poetry is so good, Beena, because it's pure feeling. It's fantastic. It really is. I just think it's too brilliant. Yeah.
I don't know, but for me, okay, what's the difference between a story and myth?
Well, a myth deals with things that are uh, um, mm, well, okay, they're dealing with a reality that is a non-realistic reality, and it's not fantasy either. So typically, it involves gods and creatures and stuff. It doesn't have to involve gods, but something that there's a moreness to it, right? So you're not just writing about animals like Edgy, right? But the myth contains a quality of grandness, a quality of moreness, a quality of that overarchingness, and specifically and particularly, myths deal with the representation of abstract conceptualities in a fantastical form, right? Either animals or gods or whatever, right? So this is it. It's dealing with abstract conceptualities on a grand scale, put into something that's relatable. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Because for me, these are stories. For me, Buddha is now. I just love this term for him, for Buddha,
Yeah.
meta being. This is going to
Yeah.
be like, okay, a very different now. For me, it's all story. What I my imagination could think of, could visualize of. It's all a story. It's not like Buddha being God, and I'm going to introduce Buddha as a character who is sharing all the philosophies and ideas. Might be sometimes here and there, but but just the basic characteristics, which is going to be helpful for the story. Sometimes wannabe is going to be the main character of the story. He going to lead that whole story, or sometimes other characters. So for me, Buddha is just in way of impeccable term representation of moreness. Yeah. So for me, these are stories. We will see.
Yeah. 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 Say the last part again for me, please, Beena. Sorry.
For me, these are just stories. Okay, not necessarily myths, but let's see
Yeah,
what they come
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah. I know, but that's the thing, though. See, you automatically tend to think in that way. So I thought, all right, write your stories, just your stories. They're gonna end up being myths automatically. You'll see. Yeah, don't worry too much about it. Yeah,
Well, I'm not, because the fun is that I like this visually. All three of them looks like they are at the same place, or they
yeah,
belong to the same root. So okay, but that was the inspiration. This is the inspiration right now. That the three, if what if the three are together? What they are going to talk about, what they are going to do, what they are going to share. That's it.
I love this, Beena. I want to hear more. I can't wait.
So
I'm gonna share
I
that.
just wrote down what I shared with you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
When
just
when
wrote it
when
down.
when magical is not so magical,
Mm.
right? Yeah. So I thought too at some point. Yeah, we go to the top. Show you. You see this kind of style with a little bit older girls and a little bit more sophisticated in the drawing. You see, not
Uh,
quite. I've seen better ones than these. These are still a little bit too not quite sophisticated enough, but they're getting there. They're getting there. See,
yeah.
almost there, right?
Yes.
In terms of a graphic novel. Yeah. I like this they call it it's a community page or something. It's not a
Yes, I'm
page, it's
dreaming.
something community. Yeah, I do enjoy it. It's just it's just fun to scroll through and yeah. Yeah, this is interesting. You don't often see this. Auntie, a little bit on, too much yeast in auntie, but all right, right.
Yeah.
But look at the little pinky and everything. Yeah, the cat. Yeah. Well done. Well done. Well done. Well done. Lots of moreness in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
The underlying intent is what I like. Yeah.
Mm.
I like lots of art. But whoever does this is very industrious with whatever they do. I don't know where they find the pictures from. Like people send them in, but they post a lot of stuff. So it's pretty astonishing. They share a lot of content. I'm assuming that whoever does it does some of this themselves,
Because
but I'm
it's
pretty
it's
sure
it's a
not
very
all of it
same.
is there.
It's a very same style.
Yeah, but I looked though, and I looked for signatures on some of them, and it's not the same. Most of it is by the same artist, but it's definitely not all the same artist. And if it is the same artist, they are ridiculously prolific. Yeah, that's like all they do. Very
Okay,
interesting.
sir. Gotta go now. It's already 2:30.
Yes, Beena. Yes, Beena.
Okay.
Yes,
So
Beena.
bye for now.
All right. So sleep mythologically, Beena.
Yes, you too.
Yeah, I will. I
Bye for
will.
now.
Oh, bye bye, Beena. Bye bye, Beena. Ah, bye 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 bye.
Why it is not accepting? Okay.